Good morning. My name is Craig Anderson. I'm a member of the board here at the Unitarian Universalist Church in Reston. I hope you enjoy the bubbles today. I have to say, we're doing really good for summer attendance. I remember when my family and I were first coming here, summers were really, really thin and all the UUs were on vacation. And it's exciting to see so many people coming during the summer now. So thank you for coming today. So whether you are here on Zoom or in the sanctuary with us, we're so glad you're here with us today. No matter how old or young you are, wherever you are in your spiritual journey, however you identify, whoever you love, know that you are welcome here. A special welcome to our two guest musicians today, Tsung and Kipp. Bonnie is a music teacher and Chuck is a small business owner in Arlington. The two met in the Arlington Community Chorus, which is led by none other than Cynthia. Bonnie and Chuck sang for us at a service here last summer, and we are so happy to welcome you back to UCR. Thank you for coming back. We're also very pleased to have, again, as our guest piano player, Meagan Pitluck-Schmitt, who I think can do everything now at UCR. She's done... I'm trying to think if there's a role you haven't taken on yet. But thank you again for sharing music with us today. I have a literal bumper crop of announcements to share with you. So settle in for the announcements. So number one, Reston Cups will hold a Lunasa Community Feast and Revel here on Saturday, August 3rd, right in the sanctuary. All are welcome to attend as they celebrate the first Harvest Festival of summer with ritual and a bardic circle, food and games. The event is scheduled to run from 6 to 9 p.m. and you can look for details in the July 18th edition of the UU Reston Connection, or you can chat with Kathy Delianis after the service today. Kathy, can you identify yourself? You're going to hear about Kathy again in just a minute. She's involved in a lot of things too. Number two, UCR will be publishing a new member and friend picture directory at the end of July. If any of your information has changed, or if you just would like an updated picture in the directory, please contact Kathy as well. Also, if you're not currently listed in the directory and you'd like to be included as a friend of UCR, you're welcome to be included in the directory as well. Just let Kathy know. She'll be available after the service on the next few Sundays to also take pictures for the directory if you'd like an updated photo. Third announcement. One of the traditions we've had at UCR is helping with backpacks for the local schools as part of the social work we do in the community. So we have a need for over 2,000 backpacks this year for 18 local public schools in northwestern Fairfax County. Cornerstones runs this whole event, and they will be accepting donations of new backpacks in person at their main facility in Reston. In case you don't know where that is, that's at 11150 Sunset Hills Road, Suite 210. They're on the internet as well. And there are some size restrictions and other requests for what the backpacks are like. So if you want more information on that, you can see Julie right here, or Judy, I'm sorry. And she can give you the skinny on how to go out and get some backpacks and help out the kids in our community. The next announcement, the next issue of our UUCR Connection, the e-blast newsletter, is scheduled for 8th August. If you have any news that you wish to be shared in that edition, please send it to our new, I'll tell you about that in a minute, our new UUCR office manager on or before July or August 6th. On or before August 6th. Another announcement. So from our friends in the Hebrew congregation next door, they've made an offer to all of us. If you're curious about the Jewish tradition or know someone who is curious about that, you can join the Northern Virginia Hebrew Congregation Clergy for a 3-session Taste of Judaism course. These 3 sessions will explore the essential themes of Jewish identity, the triad of God, the Torah, and the community. Their class is designed for those who are new to Jewish culture or history or just looking to refresh their knowledge or curious. All learners are welcome to join them as they explore Judaism's relevance in today's world. And you can email Reverend Aileen if you'd like to register for that. The 3 dates are going to be 3 Tuesdays, July 30th, August 6th, and August 13th. And the last announcement I have today is we are so happy to welcome our new office manager, Harry Davis. Harry will be starting on August 1st. So we all want to make sure that he feels welcome. Harry's not here today, is he? Okay, I'm not going to introduce him now. It'll make me stand up. And just a huge thank you for Greg Rada, who has filled in the gap in office managers. Thank you, Greg. I think he's out there listening on Zoom today. I think he's camping. So now, that's the end of announcements. Now let us center ourselves for worship. Please take some deep, quieting breaths as we enter our time of worship and enjoy this morning's prelude.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
For those who were here last year, you'll be happy to know we've had a whole year to practice. I'm Chuck.
And I'm Bonnie.
And we are the two members of B&C Incorporated.
Yeah.
To limit our liability.
Okay,
And in keeping with the theme, this morning we're going to do a little song about fun. Ready? Every morning, every evening, ain't we got fun? Not much money, oh, but honey, ain't we got fun? The rent's unpaid, dear, we haven't a car. But anyway, dear, we'll stay as we are. In the summer, heat's a bummer, but let's have fun. Splishing, splashing, singing, laughing, till the day is done. If there are troubles, we'll sit on the front porch blowing soap bubbles. Little lazy, little crazy, ain't we got fun? Ain't we got fun? Inside, outside, it's a joyride that keeps us on the run. What tune we'll practice, we haven't a clue. But when we find one, we'll play it for you. If the news gives you the blues, go have some fun. You know it's not unusual to have fun with anyone. One thing's for certain, we'll keep on playing till the final curtain. In the meantime, in between time, ain't we got fun? Ba-ba-ba-doo-wop,
Ba-ba-da-doo-da.
ain't we got fun?
Thank you, Bonnie and Chuck. Good morning and welcome. I'm Reverend Aileen Fitzke, and it is my honor to serve this congregation as its minister. Our opening words this morning are from Deep Play by Diane Ackerman. For humans, play is a refuge from ordinary life, a sanctuary of the mind, where one is exempt from life's customs, methods, and decrees. Play always has a sacred place, some version of a playground where it happens. The hallowed ground is usually outlined so that it's clearly set off from the rest of reality. Play has a time limit which may be intense but fleeting. Sometimes the time limit is prearranged. At other times, it is only recognized in retrospect. The world of play favors exuberance, license, abandon. Shenanigans are allowed. Strategies can be tried. Selves can be revised. Play creates order, is order, into an imperfect world and into the confusion of life. It brings a temporary, limited perfection.
Good morning. Our opening hymn today is number 128, For All That Is Our Life. So please rise in body or spirit and join us.
Our chalice lighting this morning comes from Melanie Davis, exploring who we are. Under the right circumstances, playing with fire is a delight. Imagine being gathered round a fire pit as the crackling flames invite us to sing, dance, and roast a marshmallow or two. Our chalice also invites us to play, although with ideas rather than with marshmallows. The flame encourages us to explore who we are, who our neighbors are, and where we are on our spiritual journeys. Today, we light this chalice in the spirit of play. Let us trust the light to guide us in this hour and in the days to come, finding joy along the way.
Here at UUCR, we have a beloved tradition of singing our covenant together every Sunday morning. Love is the spirit of this church. We will remain seated while we sing our covenant. And if you are here today for the very first time, we hope you will accept this song as our blessing to you.
Good morning. Now is the time for all ages, and we're going to play. So if you're feeling young of body and would like to come forward, please do so now. And there will be an opportunity for everyone to take part. So, we are going to do something we do at the beginning of religious education almost every morning. I am going to ask you a question, and then we'll toss the ball as we answer. If you're ready, you can hold out your hands, and when you get the ball, answer, then throw it to someone else, and when you're done, put your hands down so we all know you've had a turn. So, I see someone who is ready, and you don't even know the question yet. You're ready no matter what. So what is one of your favorite ways to play?
It depends on what mood I'm in.
Okay, it depends on the mood. Okay, and is it what? And what the weather is outside. Good point. So if anyone else is ready, hold up your hands. I see someone here. We're going to stay away from this area because of soap bubble. So, Laurel, what is one of your favorite ways to play?
Running around outside and chasing my butt.
Running around outside. Okay. So, anyone else have an answer? I see someone here. Oh.
Playing with my friends.
Playing with your friends, and there's someone behind you.
What's the question?
One of your favorite ways to play? Not sure right now? I have to think about it. That is fine. As children, many of us know how to play, but as we get... You remember? Okay.
Making things.
Making things, yes. as adults, sometimes we forget. So you've heard a lot of descriptions of play already, but one from a psychologist who studies play, did you know there was such a thing? He says play are activities that we freely choose, that are intrinsically motivated, that we want to do just because they're fun, not because of the outcome. And they have rules, but leave plenty of room for experimentation and creativity. So I'm wondering, we haven't heard from anyone out here yet. If you would like the ball, hold up both of your hands, and maybe some of our young people here can help get it to you. If you'd just like to answer, raise your hand, and if you're on chat, you can type. And yes, and Mike.
On Zoom says her favorite way to play is
In the pool. I see hands up here.
Talking to squirrels and barred owls.
Talking to squirrels and barred owls, and I see someone up there.
improvising music.
Improvising music. Someone, oh.
Making messes.
Making messes. That sounds like
Role play games.
role play. Oh, someone behind you?
Building Legos.
Building Legos. Anyone else? Oh, digging in the garden. And we have someone here.
I have another one.
Do you have something?
I like trying out new desserts.
Trying new.
I have something.
Well, okay, there's a.
Building and playing with Legos.
Oh, okay, so we have lots of votes for Legos. And we have many, many ways to play. And something interesting is religious educators know that play is really, really important. In fact, I went to a conference where we talked about play, and the person facilitating it gave the definition I just did, and then kind of added as a side, well, it's not like work, like making spreadsheets. And one of the people in the class raised their hand and said, but I like making spreadsheets. It's so much fun, it fits all those categories. So you might have other ways that you like to play that we don't all think about. But we can all play from the time we're very young, as I've seen one of our young ones dancing to the music today, and we'll all get a chance to play after the service. Thank you. Liking to play made-up games. That's always fun. So you may now go to your seats and we'll continue our service. And I know we'll have more music to dance to and games and play after the service.
Now is the time in our service for the sharing of joys and concerns so that no one ever has to hold them alone. If you are joining us remotely this morning, you may wish to light a real or virtual candle wherever you are to mark what is in your heart. As members of the in-person congregation, place stones in the water here in the sanctuary. If those of you at home would like to share what's on your heart today in the congregational chat, please do so, and remember, what you write will be public. Those at home may then read others' joys and concerns shared in the chat and enter into your own time of reflection. And I invite those of you here to come forward now and place your stones in the water. let us be one in prayer and meditation. Spirit of life and love that so faithfully animates our creation, we are grateful for this community that is with us in times of both joy and sorrow. We hold in our hearts this morning all who are facing any hardship or difficulty, those who are grieving or facing illness or disability in themselves or their friends or loved ones. In particular this morning, we hold in our hearts and prayers all the Olympic athletes whose ability to play has led them to one of the world's preeminent sporting events. For them, we light this candle. Let us take a moment of silence.
As a self-funded church, UCR relies on the generosity of its members and its friends to fund our daily operations and to ensure that this church and its resources are here for us, for others in our community now and in the future. Pledges support our worship and music programs, our religious education program, programs for members and friends, our community outreach, and connections to Unitarian Universalism. It also supports things like the bubble machine. We now invite you to support the work of UU Reston by making your donation to the collection plate if you're here in the sanctuary, or at the link on the slide in the chat box, which will be there, I'm sure, very shortly. Thank you for your generosity and support of our beloved spiritual community.
While you're being generous, we will entertain you, hopefully, with another song. Who likes to ride roller coasters? Well, this is about a Hawaiian roller coaster. Do you know what a Hawaiian roller coaster is? Whoa. Hope you enjoy it. Ready? Aloha, aloha. Anoaki, aloha, 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 anoaki, aloha. Then on my surfboard out at sea, and if I had one wish come true, I'd surf till the sun sets beyond the horizon. Flying by on a Hawaiian roller coaster ride. I wicked, wicked, my low, low, and I weigh my little papa hey, na, hee, na, la, 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 la. Oh, come on, one, na, look, la, 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 na, na, make it count, you can put it on. Hey, my got away on roller coaster ride. Then on the seashore, dry, wet, free. Ukulele in my hand, I play till the sun sets beyond the horizon. La la la, la 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 la. Make it count, you can put it on me. Time to try a Hawaiian roller coaster ride. How to think and how to take a shot. No worry, no fear, ain't no biggie ride. Come in, come out, come back, come out. Front side, back side, do the good whack. Let's get jumping, surfed up, bumping, coasting with the motion of the ocean. Whirlpool swirling, twisting and turn on roller coaster ride.
You ready, Chip?
I'm ready, looking for a big wave.
Thank you again, Bonnie and Chuck. All right, now I'm going to give you a little bit of chance to play here at the beginning of the sermon. There's going to be something come up behind me, hopefully. If you have your smartphones with you, please go to menti.com and enter the code you see up there. Menti, MENTI.com, and enter the code you see up there. 4213-2379.
People on Zoom should have a link in the chat if they might go to the phone.
Okay, good. Do they?
People that just said the microphone.
Oh, for people online, please check the chat.
4213. Give the numbers again.
4213-2379. And when you get there, you'll have a chance to fill in 3 words. You don't have to fill in all 3 of them if you don't want to. And then hit submit and just watch what happens. Thank you for indulging me. You could leave that up for the whole sermon if you want to. This crown I'm wearing, it's a crone crown. And it's a crone crown because several years ago I was serving a congregation in Binghamton, New York. And that year, our youth had a youth conference, and which is, for those of you who are not familiar with youth cons, they go from Friday night to Sunday morning, where the youth are locked in the church and get to play games all weekend, with maybe some learning opportunities in there. That year at the Binghamton congregation, we had a youth con in the fall, and then we had a young adult con in January. And the women of the congregation said, well, that's not fair. Where are the cons for adults? And so I got together with the women of the church. And on Mother's Day weekend, we hosted a crone con. And so it went from Friday night to Sunday morning, but it was all women, and all we did was play. From Friday night dance party, to our making of our crone crowns, to a croning ceremony on late Saturday night, to creating part of the service that happened on Sunday. Very sleep deprived. My children taught me how to play, or rather invigorated the play instinct in me. When they were learning how to read, I would label every object in the house with a card that had its name on it. For my younger son's 8th birthday, I created a mystery game, inviting all his friends, with characters and character descriptions, which I sent beforehand, and a clue for each of them to bring. And despite weeks of planning, they solved the mystery in 10 minutes. But we all had fun. Why do we play? As it turns out, play is found extensively in nature. Researchers and scientists have detected play in mammals, our genetically closest relatives, most obviously, but they've also found play behaviors in birds, amphibians, bees, and even ants and inchworms. Though an understudied field because many think that studying play makes one slightly eccentric. Research on play has led to some discoveries about human behavior and the benefits of play. Stuart Brown, who was the one who wrote the description that Linda gave us during Time for All Ages. He is one of the preeminent researchers in play. He is the director of the Institute of Play. Yes, there is an Institute of Play. And Brown did not begin his career studying play. One of the first things he worked on as a young psychiatrist out of school was he was assigned to a panel to evaluate one of the first mass shooters in the country in 1969. What the panel found unanimously was that the shooter had been deprived of play as a child and as an adult. Brown went on to work with violent criminals. He found that one of the factors they shared almost universally was the deprivation of play as children. So, he decided to study play. And he said early on, no one wanted to fund his research because they thought it was a frivolous topic. But as it turns out, play is a very serious topic. As I mentioned, many animals play, and they play for a reason. Young animals play to rehearse later mature behaviors like hunting and catching prey. They work this out through rough and tumble play with their siblings and other young animals. They rehearse behaviors that they will need in the future in a way that is not fraught with danger. They learn social cues and behaviors in order to be able to successfully interact with other animals in their own species and in other species. Play crosses species boundaries. Play, it turns out, is essential for successful human interactions. It teaches us how to socialize with each other, how to behave, how to set boundaries, how to interpret social cues. It teaches us empathy. Last week I talked about rest and the benefits as it encourages brain development, adaptability, and resilience. Rest and play are related. The same areas of the brain that initiate play also initiate rest. Brown writes, play seems to dynamically stabilize body and social development in kids, as well as sustain these qualities in adults. It is reasonable to see them both as essential long-term organizers of brain development and adaptability. The physicist Richard Feynman once wrote, an important part of the creative process is play, at least for some scientists, he says. It is hard to maintain as you get older. You get less playful, but you shouldn't. He then goes on to explain how he used play to develop a particular way to understand higher order derivatives in calculus. The impetus to play is also the impetus to create. The writer Isaac Asimov said, the most exciting phrase to hear in science, the one that heralds new discoveries, is not eureka, but, that's funny. Our impetus to write, to dance, to paint, to do any kind of creative endeavor often begins with the impetus to play. Trying out multiple ideas, even ones that seem absurd or that we know will fail, but giving ourselves permission to do them anyway. That allows us that timelessness in creativity that Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi calls flow. Flow is that feeling when we lose track of time, when we are so engrossed in an activity that time ceases to exist and we become wholly involved in whatever we are doing. In play, Stuart Brown notes that he sees that same sense of timelessness and a diminished consciousness of self, especially in group play, when the loss of the sense of self leads to a kind of synchronous behavior with players. If you've ever watched a really good soccer match, or really any kind of sports match, where the players start working together in an almost flawless way, or played in a game where you felt that timelessness and that synchronicity, that's play. And finally, after watching an inchworm play for a while, spinning around blades of grass, the anthropologist David Graeber observed maybe we play just because it is fun. He acknowledges that play is understudied, and even when researchers find examples of play in nature that they can't help but acknowledge, Graeber writes, they try and cannibalize their own insights by trying to demonstrate that play must have some long-term survival or reproductive function. He asks the question instead, why does the existence of action carried out for the sheer pleasure of acting, the exertion of powers for the sheer pleasure of exerting them, why do those strike us as mysterious? What does that tell us about ourselves? Graeber goes on to postulate, somewhat tongue-in-cheek, what he calls the principle of ludic freedom, ludic coming from the Latin word ludere, to play. That is, that even at the smallest subatomic level, there is this impetus to just have fun for fun's sake. Watching subatomic particles that do not always do what they are predicted to do, he suggests, is that this impetus to play even exists at a subatomic level. After all, electrons are not doing things to maximize their reproductive future. That electron simply doesn't have the material interest to pursue that, not even for survival. It can only be acting as an end unto itself. Which would mean that at the very foundations of physical reality, we encounter freedom for its own sake, which means we encounter the rudimentary forms of play. Stuart Brown writes, joy is our birthright and is intrinsic to our design. People reach the highest levels of discipline because they are driven by love, by fun, by play. And he quotes performance specialist Chuck Hogan, the greatest performers perform as they do, and with such grace because they love what they are doing. Humans were born to play, to find ways, even when making crowns, to have fun. And when we lose this impulse, we become rigid, less adaptable, less resilient. Writes Brown, when we stop playing, we start dying. He goes on to write, play shows us our common humanity. It shows us how we can be free within the societal structures that allow us to live with others. It is the genesis of innovation and allows us to deal with an ever-changing world. And if David Graeber is to be believed, play is simply fun, and there's nothing wrong with that. Amen, and blessed be. We will all have a chance to play after the service. I'll explain that later.
Our closing hymn is number 311, Let It Be a Dance. Please rise in body or spirit and join us.
Our benediction is from Stuart Brown's book, Play. Play is how we are made, how we develop and adjust to change. It can foster innovation. But in the end, the most significant aspect of play is that it allows us to express our joy and connect more deeply with the best in ourselves and the best in others. Play is the purest expression of love.
We now extinguish this flame. But not the light of hope and truth, the warmth of community, nor the fire of commitment. These we carry forth in our hearts until we are together again.
That was really a nice sermon. There's nothing more fun than getting together with my buddy Bonnie here and practicing our ukuleles. We just eat snacks and talk and laugh and make mistakes and really enjoy ourselves, and I always leave enlivened. So here's our last song about something that's fun to do.
I hope that you guys get a chance to do it too.
Yeah.
And sing along with us.
We'll tell you when. With tuppence for paper and string, you can have your own set of wings. With your feet on the ground, you're a burning fly. With your head held tight to the seat of your kite. Oh, let's go fly a kite up to the highest height. Let's go fly a kite and sing soaring up through the atmosphere, up where the air is clear. Oh, let's go fly a kite. When you send it flying up there, all at once you're lighter than air. When you turn on the breeze over houses and trees, with your fist holding tight to the string of your kite. Oh,